Hey guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and I have a review for you today of something that I think is pretty neat, and that is a customized copy of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. You see that right there? Yeah, that's me. Basically, a few months ago I was contacted by a company called Ustar that personalizes novels and does like character substitution, so you can take, in this case, Lizzie Bennet, and put anyone else in her place. So when they first contacted me, I didn't really have time to take on something new, but then they contacted me again right before Austen in August, and I was like, that is perfect. So, for Austen in August, I figured I'd get a copy of P&P. Basically, fulfilling the dreams of every Janeite to put myself in the pages as Lizzie and have Mr. Darcy trying to win me over. Of course, I've read Pride and Prejudice before, and you guys know I love it, so I don't need to review the content of the story. It's a classic. Nothing has changed other than my name and the family name instead of Lizzie's and the Bennets. So I'm going to review it more as a concept and how it delivers as a package, as something that you would want to own as a Janeite or a gift that you would want to give to someone. And note, they have all kinds of things. There are tons of classics that you can put your name in, but there's also original stories, all kinds of different fiction, including erotic, things for you to pick from to then customize and keep for yourself or give as gifts. As a concept, I think this is really fun and makes perfect sense in this day and age when you can print on demand. This was a market that I think was just waiting to be filled. And I'm glad that someone filled it because that makes a really cool talking point and it makes a really great gift, and I think that's probably where the strengths lie, either for collectors or for people that want to give something that's a really sort of personal and interesting gift that you can't really pick up anywhere. You know, you can't go to a store and just pick up a novel with your name in it. So I think that's where the strengths and the interest are really going to lie with something like this. And on that score, I think there are positives and negatives. In the case of Pride and Prejudice, and I'm assuming it's like this for most of the books that they sell, you are given a list of character options that you can personalize, and it's up to you if you want to change all of the main character names or just one. You could take Pride and Prejudice and give it to someone as an engagement gift with the names of the people that have just gotten engaged, and make it a really fun talking point and really memorable gift. The positives on that side are the customization as far as the names and the shelf appeal that something like this would have. But the drawbacks are also on that same customization tack. I wish that it would have been more thoroughly customizable. You know, I wish that you could choose from, preset backgrounds, or choose the font that's going to be in the title, or the layout in general. If you gave your customers lists of options that they could choose from, you still have something, it's preset, it's still going to be print on demand, and it's still going to be a pattern either way, and they obviously have different patterns and color schemes because not every book is going to look like this. So having those extra few layers of customization I think could really take this to the next level. And same thing with the blurb on the back. It would be nice if you could kind of personalize that if you wanted to, instead of just having the standard blurb for the book. Maybe put something that's a message, almost treat it like a card and be able to say what you want. I think that could be really interesting. Things like that would have been a nice option for something like this. One other drawback, and this is kind of a silly one, and it's probably just one of the inherent ills of a print-on-demand service, but the spacing in the book, I would have liked a little wider margins. As it is, the words really go pretty tightly into that fold, which means you're going to have to break the spine if you wanted to actually be able to read this. And if you're keeping it as a gift or a coffee table book, you don't want to really have to break the spine if you don't have to. I mean, you want to be able to treat it a little gently, and you certainly can, but it's just going to be a little bit harder. It just needed to be moved out of that inner seam just a little bit. But that's really nitpicky. Just, within a company, I think that you should try to factor in everything and take everything into account when it comes to the design. From a personal standpoint, I cannot begin to tell you how freaky it is to read Pride and Prejudice with your name in it. I mean, it's really, really trippy. Something to consider if you're wanting to get one of these for yourself or as a gift for someone. It could make them a little uncomfortable depending on the book that you're choosing. You have to take into account everything that they are going to say and do as a character within this book and how that might make them feel. On the one hand, that can be really funny and silly, but you know, just depending on who you're wanting to give it to, if you decide to do something like this as a gift, you might want to take that into account when you're choosing the story. Or if you're wanting to get one of the erotic novels as a kind of relationship-y thing, or a gag gift, just, you know, something to think about. You or the person you're giving this to, whoever's name is going to be put in this book, will be doing those actions or saying those things. It's really a weird, trippy experience to see yourself doing things, or to read about yourself doing things. And in my case, to be doing things that, I mean, I've read Pride and Prejudice countless times, so I'm well versed in the things that Lizzie says and does, and I'm used to her saying and doing them. So to read myself doing them was a little bit freaky, but also really cool and a really interesting thing to have added to my Jane Austen collection. So I really can't fault it for that. It's just super interesting. It would make a great talking point, you know, great to keep on your bookshelves or your coffee table for people to check out when they come over and get a good laugh out of, or be a little jealous of if they're a collector too. And I really think the strengths of this lie in gift giving, because this would make a really good gift for book nerds, people that are really into any particular classic. As I said, engagement gifts, anything like that. I think it has the potential to be a really interesting, really memorable gift. So if that sounds like something cool to you, I would definitely recommend giving U-Star a look. I've got links to the company below. These are available internationally and are definitely worth spending some time to check out, or for putting on your list next time you need a really cool, really interesting gift. So thanks, U-Star, for sending me my very own Pride and Prejudice, and this will happily have a place on my Jane Austen shelf and be pulled out when Book Nerdy Company comes. Let me know what you think of U-Star novels as a concept, whether you would get something like this or whether it completely freaks you out. And I would also be really curious to know which novel you would put yourself in if given the choice. So let me know that in the comments. And if you want more Jane Austen-y goodness, make sure to stop by Austen in August. The link to that, as well as U-Star, is in the info. And that is all for now. As always, happy reading!